This next unit we are going to solve equations with trigonometry in it. An equation whose variable is expressed in terms of a trig function value is a trig equation. Today we're going to solve like we would solve a normal equation. So we have 2 cos theta minus 1 equals 0. We want to solve for theta. The first thing we do is if we saw this as a 2x minus 1 equals 0. So if you saw this instead, you would tell me to add 1. Well, we're going to do the same thing here. Then you would tell me divide by 2. So we're going to do the same thing here. Normally this problem with the x would be done. We would say x equals 1/2. But here we have cos theta equals 1/2 and we want it to be just theta equals. So the way we do that is we take the inverse cosine since we can't divide by cos. So cos -1. Please make sure your calculator is in degrees. Type second cos of 1/2 and you get 60 degrees. Unfortunately, there's 2 angles that work. The one that it gives you and another one. So to find the other one, what you do is you graph, and we've done this a little bit before. You graph the one that you found, 60 degrees. 60 degrees is in quadrant 1. In quadrant 1, cosine is positive. Cosine is also positive in which other quadrant? Quadrant 4. These reference angles of 60 are the same. You want the blue angle, which is going to be 360 minus 60, which is 300 degrees. And that's it for the first problem. Let's try the second problem. To get the second problem, what we do is let's get the signs on one side. So I'm going to subtract the 2 sine theta and the numbers on the other. So I'm going to add the 1. So we'll have 2 sine theta equals 2. Divide by 2. Sine theta equals 1. And then do inverse sine. And we end up getting theta equals 90 degrees. From there we graph 90 degrees. 90 degrees is a quadrantal angle. That's the red angle. When you land on a axis, what you do is you test the other side. So my black angle, which is 270. So you type sine 270 in your calculator, and you see if it gives you 1 as an answer. You'll see it gives you -1 as an answer, so it doesn't work. So this one only has 1 possible answer. And the next one is the third type of answers that we could get. Still, we will start by solving it. Let's distribute the 3. So it's going to be 3 tan theta minus 6 equals 2 tan theta minus 7. Bring the tan thetas together and the numbers together on opposite sides of the equal sign. So we'll have tan theta equals -1. Take the inverse tan. Inverse tan of -1 is -45. Look at the directions. The directions say it has to be between 0 and 360, and that is not. It's a negative number. We still start by graphing it. -45 is in quadrant 4. The first thing I'm going to do is get the positive side of that angle, which is 360 minus 45, which is 315. So my first real angle is 315. I see him in quadrant 4. In quadrant 4, tangent is negative. Tangent is also negative in quadrant 2. These reference angles are the same at 45. I want this black angle here, which will be 180 minus 45, which is 135. So those are the 3 types you can get. A positive angle to start with, like the first one, a quadrantal angle like the second one, or a negative angle like the third one. Now let's practice with some more of these. Let's do this next one. 3 sine theta minus radical 3 equals sine theta. I'm going to move the sine theta to the left, and I'm also going to add the radical 3. So I'll have 2 sine theta equals radical 3. I'm going to divide by 2. So sine theta equals radical 3 over 2. And then inverse sine. So we get theta equals 60 degrees. To find the other angle, we graph it. When I graph it, I'm in quadrant 1. Sine is positive in quadrant 1. Sine is also positive in quadrant 2. These reference angles of 60 are the same. I want the blue angle, which is 180 minus 60, which is 120. Take a look at the directions here. It says it wants radian values. From here, to get the radian value, what you do is you use our shortcut method. You take the answer and divide by 180 in your calculator, so 60 divided by 180. Change it to a fraction, it's 1/3, and stick a pi in the numerator, so pi over 3. Same idea here, 120 divided by 180. Change it to a fraction, you get 2/3. Pi in the numerator, 2 pi over 3. I'm going to skip this one, but I will do the one on the bottom right here, so that way you can see how to deal with a reciprocal function, in this case a cotangent, when you try a cosecant. Okay, so looking at this next one, it says find to the nearest tenth the degree measure of all theta that make the equation true. So what we are going to do is we're going to start by solving the same way. We are going to subtract the cotangent, and let's add the 11. So we'll have cotangent theta equals 10. You don't have an inverse cotangent button. So what you have to do instead is take the reciprocal. The reciprocal of cotangent is tangent. The reciprocal of 10 is 1/10. And then you take the inverse of both sides. So inverse tan of 1/10 in your calculator. And it's going to give you about 5.7. It's not a whole number, but that's okay. It said round to the nearest tenth. To get the other value, we graph it. 5.7 is in quadrant 1. Tangent's positive in quadrant 1. Tangent is also positive in quadrant 3. My reference angles, those red ones I just drew in, are the same. They are 5.7. You want the black angle, which is 180 plus 5.7, so it's 185.7. And let's look at the ones in the bottom here. So I'm going to leave you guys the one on the left. That's an easier one, but I will do the one on the right so you can see how it works. Okay, so to solve this one, what we will do is let's get our tans together and our numbers together. So subtract 5 tan theta and add the 7. So we'll have 10 tan theta equals 4. Divide by 10. Tan theta equals 2/5. Take your inverse tan of 2/5. You get theta equals 21.8. You'll graph 21.8, which is in quadrant 1. Tangent's positive there. Tangent is also positive in quadrant 3. My red angles are the same at 21.8. My blue angle is the one I really want, which is 180 plus 21.8, which is 201.8. Notice it wants a value between 0 and 2 pi, which means radian value. We want it to the nearest hundredth. The way we get to the nearest hundredth is you are going to take 21.8, multiply by pi in your calculator, and divide by 180. That's going to give you 0.38. And the same thing with the other one. You're going to take 201.8, multiply by pi, and divide by 180, and that gives you 3.52. At this point, you can do the problems that I skipped.